It's 3 o'clock, we're going to get started. Was the meeting posted?
Yes.
First on the agenda.
Commission will now open a public hearing on the application for alteration of premises by Camilla LLC, doing business as Reservations Restaurant and Lounge. Dolores Cruz is manager. The all-alcoholic beverage restaurant licensee for premises at 179 Central Street. The licensee now is looking to add to their licensed premises a sidewalk cafe, which will be in front of the front door. And the city council approved a license, sidewalk license for the licensee to access the sidewalk. And here before the commission now is the request to include alcohol beverages in the outside area.
Introduce yourself for the record, please.
My name is Dolores Cruz.
Okay, let's do the public hearing portion first. Is there anybody to speak in opposition to this application? In opposition, that portion of the hearing is closed. Anybody to wish to speak in favor, and that portion of the hearing is closed. Jack, how many times have you had to go over to the Reservations Restaurant and Lounge?
I'm not aware of any calls, Mr. Commissioner.
None? Okay. I don't see a problem with it myself. I think it's a great area. It's a nice, it's a nice area over there, and you got plenty of sidewalk. You've got to leave a 4-foot buffer for people to go by on a wheelchair, so that they need space. They don't have to go out in the street. That's about really the most important, putting up some type of a barrier. And hopefully you do something that would be aesthetically pleasing, that would look nice and would help to contribute to the downtown area. Excuse me?
I think they already have outside seating, it's just whether or not they can.
Right, can have alcohol. To serve alcohol, will this have to go to Boston?
Yes,
Yes.
should the license commission approve it, and then will have to be approved by the ABCC.
Okay, all right. Any questions?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
All right, we got a motion made and seconded. All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so you've got to send it to Boston, the secretary's got to send it to Boston to get an answer, okay?
Sure.
Wish you the best of luck.
Thank you. Thanks.
Okay. Next on the agenda.
Commission will now take application for all alcoholic beverages, Cynthia A. Nelson of Riverhawks Inc. for Thursday, July 7th, from 5:30 PM to 9 PM, the athletic fundraiser at the Bellegarde Boathouse at 500 Pawtucket Boulevard.
Introduce yourself for the record,
Hi, I'm Cynthia Nelson.
okay? Athletic fundraiser, for what?
UMass Lowell Athletics Department is the field hockey team.
Okay. I imagine not all of them are 21.
It's actually an invite-only ticketed event. It's actually mostly alum and sponsors. So it's not projected towards
Not
the
open to the
students.
general public?
No.
Okay, wonderful. Anything?
No, I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Motion made and seconded, all in favor say yes.
Yes.
Yes, great, thank you. Next on the agenda,
Commission will now take up applications for malt beverage and wine only. Mark Girolamo of the Dubliner for an enclosed outdoor area adjacent to 197 Market Street for Saturday, July 30th from 12 noon to 12 midnight, Sunday, July 31st, 2011 from 12 noon to 6 PM in conjunction with the Lowell Folk Festival. David Hanks for Saturday, September 3rd from 10 AM to 2 PM, a wedding at the Renaissance on the River Park adjacent to Riverwalk Way. Board of Parks had granted permission for the use and for permission to have alcohol on June 29, 2011. Cynthia Nelson of Riverhawks Inc. for Wednesday, July 13th from 6 PM to 9 PM at the Athletic Clam Bake at the Bellegarde Boathouse, 500 Pawtucket Boulevard. And Felice G. Cazaza of F&T Pizzeria Inc., doing business as Sammy's Pizzeria, for an enclosed area adjacent to 127 Merrimack Street for Friday, July 29th from 5 PM to 10 PM, Saturday, July 30th from 12 noon to 10 PM, and Sunday, July 31st from 12 noon to 6 PM.
introduce yourself for the record, please.
I'm Mark Girolamo.
Okay,
David Hanks.
okay,
Cynthia Nelson?
okay,
Felice Casaza.
okay.
Just to put it out there, my law office did the closing for Mr. Girolamo, for the Dubliner. I just wanted to put that out there beforehand, but there's no ongoing financial relationship.
Okay. I was wondering about, Sammy's Pizza. Tell me about this enclosed area. I mean, how's this, maybe, whereabouts is 127?
Right next to Mambo Grill.
Right next to Mambo Grill.
Between Metro PCS and Mambo Grill.
Okay,
Right now, I have sidewalk seating. But I wanted to extend it out to the street and close it off, fence it off, and
oh, just for the Folk Festival?
just for Folk Fest.
Oh,
yeah.
okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, he doesn't have a beer and wine license for the restaurant, so he was hoping that when the Folk Festival and the Merrimack Street area is closed down, he does have access, or will have access. Presently, he has a sidewalk seating area
Yeah.
in front of the restaurant at Sammy's, which is next door to Mambo Grill.
Right.
He has his own space for several tables. His dealings with the downtown coordinator, Chris Samaras, he anticipates being able to move a seating area out into Merrimack Street when Merrimack Street is closed to motor vehicle traffic.
Right,
Starting with the Folk Festival on the Friday evening. It is there that he would like to be able to offer beer and/or wine with any food that may be served,
okay,
though he's presently not a licensee.
all right. You see anything you have any problems with? Okay, you're gonna become a part of the outside. Now, we've been doing this for, I don't know how many years, and we have not had any problems at all. Okay, one thing that I do tell you, if you're part of the Folk Festival, I see you're gonna be wanting an application for sound. You're gonna be, in the downtown area, the sound everything is done subject to the Folk Festival.
Yep.
If somebody from the Folk Festival says, turn the music off or turn it down, period, end of statement, you turn it down. The Folk Festival has priority, okay?
Not a problem.
Lot of people, right? Real easy to let, like, the rest of you can take this also, because you got a wedding, you got the same problem. You go to a wedding today, somebody's 19 years old, somebody's there that's 21, says, oh, I'll buy him a sombrero, I'll buy him a drink. Yeah, they're 19, get them a couple of beers, nobody will know. They will not know until they fall down the stairs and, hit their head, and then they say, you know what? You were the one that bought that beer for me, it's your fault. It's not my fault, it's your fault. You sold it. You were the one that had the party or had the wedding or whatever. And it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. There's no personal responsibility anymore. But I say that to make sure you know that you're aware of it. And when you're downtown and you're a part of this huge mob, and I mean, I don't mean to, say that they're unruly, but you got this huge mob of people. You got to make sure the people that you got working there are on their toes every minute, every single minute, because you've got a university right down here, and these kids are today, they can reproduce a driver's license or a mass ID card quicker than you can serve them a beer, and once that happens, your business is going to go right through, because they're going to go back and tell everybody. Go to Sammy's. If the guy in the gray shirt is working, you can buy. He won't check you. He forgets, okay? So all of you got to take that. We don't say that to be harsh or anything. We just want you, so that someday you're not standing before a judge saying, gee, nobody told me. Nobody said anything. I didn't know I was the one that was going to be responsible. I didn't sell them the beer. I just ran the wedding. I just ran the party. It doesn't matter, okay?
I have a question. On the wedding that's listed, all right? I know that we need to grant a special permit for consumption of alcohol in a public place or a park. Is that what you're seeking? Or are you seeking a license to actually sell alcoholic beverages at the wedding?
It's to serve, we're not selling.
Okay,
It's a matter of the Parks and Recreation requested me to get the license because it's in the city green space.
right, yeah. No, it just needs actually a permit from us. That's why I was checking. Okay.
Is this clam bake also gonna be a ticket only, or are you gonna sell tickets to the general public?
This one is
or-
only for the coaches and the athletic staff.
Okay,
Okay.
okay.
Well,
Make
that's
a
my
motion to approve?
I'll make a motion.
Motion made, seconded?
Yes.
All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Okay, then, good. Just stay, you haven't got your other one yet. Hang loose.
As far as issuing any licenses, I can take care of that tomorrow. But in the meantime, Mr. Girolamo will be here for, next item on the agenda is the amplification of sound permit. Mark Girolamo for the Mariv Corp., doing business as the Dubliner. An enclosed outdoor area adjacent to 197 Market Street for Saturday, July 30th, Sunday, July 31st, for the Lowell Folk Festival. Also, Yusuf Ayub of J&I Restaurant Incorporated, doing business as Fortunatos, an enclosed outdoor area adjacent to 44 Palmer Street for Friday evening, July 29th, Saturday, July 30th, and Sunday, July 31st, also the Lowell Folk Festival.
Introduce yourself for the record.
Mark Girolamo. Yusef Ayub.
Okay? I pretty much said everything that needs to be said. The folk festival takes priority. If the music you're playing, you're at one corner, the Dubliners at the other corner, there's another place across the street. You know, you're all, there's people right around the corner. You're all congested. Let's not have a battle of the bands, okay? It's, you know, it needs to be controlled. If, as I have told other people, and I tell you the same, you take your outdoor license and your sound license, and you put them right beside the cash register where they can be seen. The police should not have to ask, can I see your license? It should be right there, okay? Any questions?
No, the only question I have here, it said I joined to 44 Balmer Street, and what I've been doing for the last 8 years for the folk festivals, my restaurants, some in 44 Balmer Street, but some of it in Middle Street, some in 44 Palmer Street. I want to make sure there is no misunderstanding.
No.
We still have the 4 feet in the Middle Street as well, like every.
Yeah, you're on the corner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just wanna make sure there's no bar.
You could put, do you want to do that? He's concerned that you're saying Palmer Street, and part of his store is on Middle Street. You know, it's a corner store.
It's a corner, he fronts both
So he
streets.
uses the corner, so some of it
I think
goes
we
on
just
here.
use it for reference
Yeah.
for mailing
Yeah,
purposes.
just to make sure, no problem.
Yeah, no problem.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor, say yes?
Yes.
Yep, okay. Next on the agenda.
Commission will now take up an application for a sidewalk stand permit for Metro PCS. William Carey is the store manager for 117 Merrimack Street. This being a store promotion during the Folk Festival weekend, July 29th, 30th, and the 31st. Two representatives, Maria and Eleanor.
Okay, introduce yourself for the record.
Eleanor Toscano, Assistant Manager of Metro PCS.
Okay,
Maria Vega, Customer Service Rep.
okay. What kind of store do you run?
Cell phone, wireless.
Wireless cell phone. Is that like a telegram?
Yeah,
Okay,
just like a telegram.
all right. Okay, you're not gonna make a lot of noise with these things, I hope.
No, sir. All we want to do is just have a table outside with some brochures.
Okay. All
Talk
right.
to some people, maybe get some business, you know.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Yes,
Thank you.
thank you. Next on the agenda.
Commission will now take up a matter to do with an application for a temporary vendor's license for an annual license. Michael K. Liberty of Tewksbury for a fixed location on Central Street sidewalk, west side between Middle and Market Streets. The site is grandfathered because of a prior license use, and that was pertaining to an individual by the name of Aram Arakelian. He's now vacated that site.
Introduce yourself for the record,
Michael K. Laliberty.
okay? All right, let me just see. What are you gonna sell?
Sausages from Bianco's in Revere, the same place Fenway Park gets their sausage, same flavor. They're excellent. KM hot dogs are going to be my second thing I sell. I'm going to rotate out a cold, healthy sandwich, like a tuna salad or a chicken salad, something that's healthier opposed to a sausage or a hot dog. And I'm also going to have sodas, juices, chips, just normal things in a cooler, Costco bought stuff. The only other thing I had thought about doing is tacos. I had a good recipe for tacos, and this is easy to serve, easy to maintain, easy to keep fresh and safe.
Okay. I see you got your Board of Health permit, and the fellow that used to be there kept a very, very clean area, okay?
Yes.
Now, when I say a clean area, he didn't pick up just the papers in front of his cart. At the end of the day, when he was done, he went from right alongside of the sidewalk, from one corner to the other, and picked up everything. And I always used to joke with him when I went by, because he would pick up everything, whether it was a brown paper bag that somebody discarded or a sandwich wrapper or whatever. And I truly think that's why the city grandfathered this place, okay? It's because he was really, in many respects, a compliment to the downtown area. You've got an elderly housing right there. You know, the people that live there, they can sit out on their benches. It's a nice little location. It's in a great primary crosswalk, so you got a lot of foot traffic. And I think, done right. But I want to make sure that we all understand each other right up front, okay? That we want the area policed up at night and put away, and so that it stays nice and clean. The city's not going down there worrying about, picking up all these papers and stuff. Outside of that, have you ever done this type of thing before?
Oh, yeah, I have a lot of experience in the restaurant business.
No, I'm talking about a push cart.
I've ran it a few times last year at private things, but this is a new event. I've done a lot of research on this. I've working about a year on this, making a conversion to this, so I plan on doing exactly that. I mean, that's going to be a reflection of my cart, that work area.
Yeah.
There's great garbage around there. People aren't going to want to eat there.
No, right, because they're going to think if the area's dirty, the food's dirty.
My cart is immaculate.
Okay.
I shine it. I mean, I will clean it every day.
Yeah. Okay.
I think it
Any
would be...
questions?
No question.
Any questions?
I have no questions.
Make a motion to approve.
Yeah, I'll second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Yes. I go by there a lot. I'm gonna be keeping an eye on you.
I
wish you good luck.
I look forward to that.
Good luck.
I look forward to this a lot.
Well, I think you can, I think you've got a great spot, really.
I-
Honestly. It's got, this pictures of the cart. Oh, yeah. Okay. Next on the agenda.
If you want to, Michael, if you want to stop by and see me tomorrow morning, about 11 o'clock.
I'll be there.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Mr. Wayne. You've been great help.
Well, you must have paid him to say that. You don't do those things for us, for crying out loud.
2 hot dogs.
2 hot dogs. Yeah, I'll give you a hot dog. Next on the agenda.
Commission will now open a hearing on the allegation of misconduct as charged by Kenneth E. LaValle, the Superintendent of Police, against the Middle Street Village, Inc., doing business as the Village Smokehouse, an all-alcoholic beverage restaurant at 9298 Middle Street, for violation of law and regulation governing sale and service of alcohol beverages. In this instance, we have a complaint alleging 4 individuals under legal drinking age were found consuming alcohol on the licensed premises.
Introduce yourself for the record, please.
Alan Kaplan.
Timothy Kelleher, Attorney Steve Panagiatakis representing.
Have you read the complaint, Counselor?
Yes, we have.
Do you want it read into the record?
We can waive the reading.
Okay, then I'm just going to have, for the sake of the television.
Sure.
Have Jack give a
Synopsis.
overview of the complaint, please.
Sure.
Mr. Chairman, on May 20th of this year, members of the Special Investigations Section under the command of Lieutenant Goldner were conducting checks of licensed establishments in the city, along with agents of the ABCC. At 12:05 a.m., the detectives and agents entered the Village Smokehouse at 98 Middle Street. When they entered, 3 young women who appeared to be underage quickly left the bar, and they were stopped and asked for identification. The first one produced a counterfeit Rhode Island license. She was ultimately identified truly as Chanel Newkirk, 20 years old, of Tingsboro. Ms. Newkirk told the detectives that she was drinking vodka and Sprite, and when the detectives entered, a bouncer took the drink away from her and told her not to tell anyone that she had been drinking. The second young lady was Christina Bills, also 20 years old, of Tingsboro. She had been drinking a vodka sour, and she told the detectives that she had used her older sister's license to get in. The third young lady was Allison Millerick, 19 years old, also of Tingsboro. She was drinking a vodka and Coke. She displayed obvious signs of intoxication, and she had used another person's ID to get in. Also at that time, ABCC investigator Paul Caperso found a 20-year-old Tewksbury resident, Beth Foley, inside the Village Smokehouse. Ms. Foley told the investigator that she had used her 23-year-old sister's license to get into the bar. They examined the license and found that the photo on the license did not resemble Ms. Foley. Ms. Foley was also intoxicated. All 4 young women were placed into protective custody, turned over either to their parents or other responsible adults. This location had also been visited by investigators on April 21st and May 6th of this year. Similar violations were found at that time, and Mr. Kelleher was warned at that time that false IDs were being used at his establishment. These violations are currently scheduled for a hearing before the ABCC. Detective Downs was the reporting officer that night, and she is present if you'd like to hear from her.
Okay.
Thank you.
Why don't you give us your side and then...
Sure. 2 managing owners are here today because of the seriousness of these allegations. They take full responsibility because it's under their supervision and management that this has occurred. The doorman who was responsible is no longer working for the company. They have made sure that all their servers, all their bartenders are tip certified. They will now make sure that all their doormen are also tip certified. They have set a policy of absolutely no Rhode Island licenses. Any out-of-state licenses would have to have another form of photo ID. They have purchased the new ID book, which will show them what are the valid out-of-state licenses or what they look like. It's been an unfortunate incident, and incidents, I should say, that have got us here today. Both of these gentlemen have indicated that they will be at the door more than they were before to make sure, especially during the busy times, that the oversight of the IDs will be conducted in a manner that is approvable and within the confines of the law. Again, on June 23rd, I believe, a compliance check was undertaken by the ABCC, or was it the Lowell Police, and everything seemed to work out well that evening. So I think the new policies that they've set are starting to work.
I'm sorry, Counselor.
June 23rd.
The June 23rd compliance check they passed?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
So we're not disputing the facts.
What happened then?
Tim?
Just the doormen that were at the door that night obviously weren't looking close enough at the IDs, and they carded everyone, and they just thought the people that came in were the right person. The Rhode Island one, the doorman made a mistake, thought it was, for some reason he thought it was in New Hampshire, even though we had told him previously no Rhode Island IDs are allowed in. As soon as the police walked in, he ran over and said, "Hey, you gotta leave."
I'd like to hear from the police officer just what she observed. It bothers me that one of your employees would have told somebody, tell them you weren't drinking. That to me is, they obviously knew something was wrong. Could you shed any light on that as to how that?
I'm not sure. I know that on the 2 other occasions that I went there also, they don't just, it didn't seem like they just had one person checking IDs. They had a few guys at the front. So I don't know. And if you looked, they're obviously not looking at the picture either, because if you looked at the person who had the ID, they looked nothing alike, so. And I know that on both times I was there, and we advised him about the Rhode Island IDs, and I think also Pennsylvania, and he was still letting them use them, so.
I mean, you got to understand, you got a college town. I mean, kids coming from all over the country to go to the school, all over the country. You're going to have, Rhode Island, Connecticut, New Hampshire, California. Nobody wants to go to school in their own hometown. I mean, if you grow up and you're going to go to college, you're not going to go to college in the same city you were born and brought up in. You're going to go somewhere where you can have some fun. I don't want to be a little too close to home. You just say to mom and dad, just send the checks, don't worry about them, I'll figure out how to spend them. But I don't want to live right next door to you coming, so I'm going to go to, so to say to somebody that you can't take a Rhode Island driver's license, so the guy can say, well, you're not a Rhode Island, I'll get you a California one. Wait a minute, I can run out to the car and make one for you. I mean, the buying the book is when the book's free. I mean, I think it always was.
And the IDs also, that the ones from Rhode Island and I believe Pennsylvania, if you scan them, they also scan through. So they're fake, but they're scanning through, because when we run them through our dispatch, they run it through the registry and nothing comes back to that ID number at all. Yeah, but they are scanning through. So that's why we advise them not to take any out-of-state IDs, just because a lot of them are fake.
Now, is this the police department scanning?
No, I think the liquor stores have the ABCs. I don't know who.
Yeah, some of them come in and they
yeah.
buy some kind of a machine, but they don't have the machine, do they?
No, but the ABCC, they had spoken with the ABCC investigator, and the ABCC investigator indicated exactly what the officer indicated, that this Rhode Island ID would have scanned through anyways as good. They have it.
That puts a whole new twist to it. I didn't realize that, I thought the machine kicked out anything that was.
I guess they're pretty good at forging these things. And that's why, as the officer indicated also, that they said, do not take any Rhode Island IDs. And now Pennsylvania too, I guess is what you're saying.
Pennsylvania's one of them.
I guess my concern with this is that when you guys came in here to open up this, it was supposed to be a restaurant with a bar on the side. It's evolved into a bar. And I understand if that's where your business is going. I mean, you walk in the front door, they don't even have the seats there anymore, correct? I mean, it's just a bar. And I think that is because that's the way your business went. That's fine. If that's how you're gonna make more money, that's fine. But as your business evolves, your security procedures have to evolve also. And this is alarming that, it's not once, it's not twice, it's 3 or 4 times that this has happened in a short amount of time. And when you have the university right there, and you get a reputation of allowing underage patrons, you're just asking for trouble. So I guess it's very good that the Lowell Police Department and the ABCC have, done a thorough investigation and job of trying to halt this practice that's going on in your establishment. And, if you had that compliance check in June and you passed, that means that your remedies must be working. But I want to see if it works in September and October when all the students are back in town. That's going to be the real test.
It's a reputation. The reputation will just kill you. talk to the police officers, they'll tell you. Once a bar gets a reputation for serving minors or selling marijuana or dope or whatever you want, once they get, it's almost impossible. And it truly is. It's almost impossible to stop it. It's like throwing a pebble in a pond, or that commercial that they have where she tells somebody and she tells somebody, and all of a sudden, you know, I forget what it's for. I think it's hair shampoo or something, and the whole screen fills up with people. There's no way of going back.
It hasn't been on the air in like 15 years.
It hasn't been on the air in 15 years. You're all 15 years, aren't you? You remember the commercial. Thank you. Okay. But the point is just that. You can never go back to that one person to say, you know, we made a mistake and we're not going to make it again. And that's obviously for, you know, like for three of them to happen, boom, 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 somebody told somebody. Think about it for a second now. Somebody told somebody, because you passed the compliance, but prior to that, you all of a sudden, boom, 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 right in a row. Somebody said, hey, we went there. They didn't, you know, hold your thumb over the picture. Mass driver's license, is a military ID still acceptable? Military ID card,
Passport.
a passport, and, you know, and if I was in business, I mean, where are these girls? See if they're standing out in the hallway, Ray. No,
Right.
they're home.
Yeah.
They could give a care less about you. They could give a care less. They cost you a day's pay. They cost you, putting you in a situation where you could lose your license. They cost you an attorney. They're gonna cost you at least one trip, if not two, to Boston. And where are they? So no matter what you do, don't worry about offending them. Okay? Because it's just not worth being that compassionate. Because believe me, if one of them ever wrapped themselves around a toe, and that's where the police department comes in, you know? I try to liken it with people and say, you know, when she walked in the door and said, don't take the, I don't know, were you the one that told me about the license? The Rhode Island license?
It's ABCC. ABCC.
Okay, but when you get pulled over and you get stopped, you're going to try and make a million excuses why I was, you know, I had to get to the hospital, blah, blah. You know what? That policeman might have just saved your life. He might have just saved your life. The same in this situation. The policeman might have just saved somebody's life. But putting that aside, they've saved you a business. Because believe me, if somebody had gone in there and had a few drinks and wrapped themselves around a tree or a telephone pole, you'd be in court with the parents, and you'd be the guys that would be responsible, not the person who drank. And that's where, once these things stop, you know, you got to nip it in the bud.
And just one last, you guys were in here in October, weren't you? And you were found in violation for not carding an individual, and you were given a 6-month probation and a 3-day suspended sentence?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, so, you know, this isn't your first bite at the apple. You've already, you know, you've already gone down this road before, and this is the second, third, fourth, fifth time, so.
Yeah. And I would also caution you, you know, don't strictly rely on technology and a card scanner. Like the officer told you, you know, Pennsylvania and Rhode Island will scan through. If you want, I can tell you how to make a Massachusetts ID scan through. All right, if you're not looking at the ID, you're susceptible. You really need to have people at the door who are better trained, all right? You really need to have one of you at the door, especially on nights when you know you're gonna have a young crowd. Because
People
you know,
working
if
for you
when
don't
your
have the
bouncers-
investment you have.
And when your bouncer's 25, you know, it's tough for him to tell the difference in the age. At least to you, they should all look like they're young enough to be carded, right? So,
Okay. 3 days suspended for 6 months.
Yeah, I mean,
That's what we've.
I mean, I think on other violations that we've had of this type, we've kind of been lenient, but where this is the second time that this has occurred, they had 6-month probation beginning in October, and the complaint we have in front of us happened in May. The 6 months had just expired, so I guess I'd recommend a 3-day closure, or 3-day suspension, held in abeyance for 6 months while they're on probation.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'll agree generally. I mean, I say that when these things are conducted, they're conducted for the purpose. When they're regular checks, compliance checks, are conducted for the educational purpose. Whereas here, this was an ABCC, was also joint on this. They do it for an enforcement purpose as opposed to a compliance. And you guys did just get off probation 60 days earlier. And at least one bouncer knew that somebody was in there underage. I'm inclined to agree with a 3-day suspended for a period of 6 months. So I'll second
What
the
happened to
motion.
the bouncer that warned the person?
He no longer works at the establishment.
Okay. You're gonna have to talk to your people. You're gonna have to talk to your people. I'm gonna go along, we got a motion, we got it seconded, all in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay? You gotta talk to your people, you gotta make them understand that they don't have the investment in this business that you have. And you can have the most beautiful restaurant in the city of Lowell or anywhere. If we bounce your liquor license, your business is gonna be going with it. You know that. People don't wanna go out to eat at night and, they wanna sit down and relax and have a drink. And I have no problem with that, but once we start putting the public at jeopardy, I have a problem. Okay? So you got 3-day suspension, suspended for the next 6 months. If you're back before us, you really don't bother even have to show up, just send your lawyer,
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
okay?
Thank you.
There's a gentleman over there would like to speak. Yes,
I'm sorry, my name's Michael Farley. My daughter was one of the ones that were picked up that night. I wasn't given a chance or anything. You're right, there is no personal responsibility. You're right. I would have liked it had she been one of the people that were called instead of those businessmen. I would have liked to have personally apologized to them for her behavior. That night, I would have liked for her to have been locked up under protective custody.
I'm with you 100%, sir.
The police didn't want...
Absolutely, positively, 100%.
They didn't want any
Lock
part
them
of
up
that.
and keep them until 3 o'clock in the morning and then call your ass out of bed. Come down and get them. And believe me, it won't be a happy scene. But somebody will finally listen. They won't, though. They won't.
They didn't want any part of that. I would have loved to have her PC
I
that
agree
night.
with you wholeheartedly. But you know what? You live in Massachusetts, and it's a liberal state, and it's always the other guy's fault. If you pass, and again, I appreciate you being here, because this is one of the arguments I've had. It's not necessarily always the owner. He's trying to do something, he's trying to make a living, he's struggling. I'm not saying that these guys weren't lax, because they were.
Understand.
Have 3 like that. But I'm also saying, where's the liability? Your child is 18, 19 years old. She knows she's doing something wrong. Put her in jail. Take her back to the police department and strip search her. And you know what? She'll never go out on a false ID again. Never. And I'll guarantee it. But it's a joke. But it wouldn't be a joke, because it would save her life. It would impress upon her the impact of what she's doing. Everybody thinks it's a big joke. I can pass the false ID. Or they show a real ID and then they stick it in their underwear or something. And when the ABC walks in, they take out a phony one because they don't want to get caught. So now they got no right to frisk them or to look at them. So they do. I appreciate you coming, sir. I wish you could write a letter. You hear all these great stories about mothers against drunk driving and kids don't let kids drive. It's all a lot of BS, because everybody's making a buck from it. And as long as people make a buck from it, this nonsense is going to continue. You know, if it was my daughters, which I'm sure at some point in their life, they tried to get away, I would have appreciated somebody kicking their ass and calling me up at 3 o'clock in the morning and say, come and get your daughter. We got her locked up. And believe me, it'd be a long time before she crawled back there on her own.
That's right, I just wish there was a little
I
more
appreciate
personal
it.
accountability. And my daughter did use her older sister's ID, and it's a flawless ID, and they do look very, very alike. So
Yeah.
I just wanted to say that. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. There's a real father. But nobody wants to listen to the real fathers. We're going to listen to the liberals. Oh, well, maybe we ought to get somebody to talk to her to see why she did that. You think maybe her father kicked her in the rear end when she was young, causing her emotional stress?
We have one last item on the agenda, a communication from the Superintendent of Police to the License Commission dated June 29th. Allegation that the Lowell Sports Club, Inc., the all-alcoholic beverage club licensee at 490 Central Street, is in violation of law and regulation governing automatic amusement device.
We make a motion to call him in, make sure we notify him, loss of license, cut back on the hours.
Give them at least 14 days' notice.
Give him, I don't care, you gotta give him a month.
Yeah.
And hold his hand. Maybe you ought to send him a check so he can afford to take a bus, a taxi over here. But he was told at the time when he bought that place.
So I'll make a motion that we bring him in the first meeting in August.
I'll second.
That'll be August the 11th.
Yes.
Motion made and seconded, all in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Anything else? Anything on the agenda?
No, Mr. Chairman, that's all.
You can express that young father's opinion to the chief if you would.
I certainly will.
I mean, they didn't want to listen to him. He was telling him to keep his daughter. You know, one night sitting in a jail cell can be one scary thing, especially at a teenage age, and they pick up the phone and call,
Mr.
and
Chairman.
Pop says, I'm not coming for you, stay there till tomorrow.
Mr. Chairman, in defense of the police department, despite the
I
father's
know that.
allegations, in defense of the police department, they did actually take all 4 kids into protective custody.
I understand
So
that, but
when
they
the
didn't
father
keep
was
them.
saying that they weren't doing
Right,
their job,
it was,
they were doing
it was
their
his
job.
decision to take her home. He could have left, he could have left her. He
It
took
was
her
his
home.
decision, right. He
Yeah,
didn't
but
have to
then,
come down.
okay, then the question has to be, whoever notified him that his daughter was under arrest because of this, did they further say, you may leave her here to learn a lesson and come and get her in the morning? You know, maybe somebody should be telling the parents that, you can leave her here, come and get her in the morning, or we'll let her out in the morning and she can walk home.
I feel reasonably confident they probably complied with
That's
all the
because you're a
protocols.
lawyer and I'm not.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Coming home, Benjamin.